Hi all, thank you for joining today's session. So today we would be resuming our configuration and also we would be working on the Flexconnect lab. So we know that in the Flexconnect we have two types. One is a local switching and another one is a central switching. So in the local switching, basically the client will not have a SSID outage because SSID outage in condition where the WLAN is down or there is any network connectivity between the WLAN and the wireless access point. So wireless access point and the WLC will have a CAPAP tunnel. In case if this CAPAP tunnel is broken for some reason, either the WLC is crashed or due to the network issue. So if the access point loses connectivity, but still the client will have the connectivity. So all the traffic, data traffic will be switched from the wireless access point to the wired network. Whereas in central switching, all the traffic is treated through the WLC and it is put onto the wired network through the WLC. But as in the local switching, the traffic will be switched locally even if the WLC is up. Like if the WLC loses connection, so that time the clients will have still the connectivity will be intact. So that's the difference between the central switching and local switching, where in central switching the data is treated by the WLC itself, whereas in local switching the data is treated at the access point level. In case if the connectivity between the WLC and access point is lost, that is the CAPAP tunnel is down. So there, but still the AP continues to operate. So in the last session, we were just exploring this concept. What happens in case if the WLC is configured for a central switching and and the CAPAP tunnel is down. So in those scenarios, what will happen? And if the access point is configured as a if the access point is configured as a local switching, so and the CAPAP tunnel goes down, in that case, what happens to the SSID? So that we were checking it out. Yeah, we will continue with that. And before do that, I will just explain the setup, how it is connected, because last time you had few confusions. So I will just sort it out, like what all things is there. Okay. For example, we got like VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30. So three VLANs I have configured, and the access point is having a different network, that is in 100 network, whereas VLAN 10 is in 192.168.10 network. This one is in 192.168.20 network, and this is in 30 network. Whereas the access point is in 100 network, and the WLCs are in 150 network, that is a management network. They are present. Okay. So WLC is in 150.1.7.0 network, whereas access point is in 100.1.1.0 network, and clients are in VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. If you take VLAN 30, it is on 192.168.30.0, whereas VLAN 10 is in 192.168.10.0, and VLAN 20 is in 192.168.10.0. Since we are just practicing how the What happens when the cap app goes down in central switching and the local switching? What is the outcome? So that is what we are analyzing in this session. But when we do the basic lab scenarios, so in that lab, we would be using multiple sites. Here we have only one router, one core switch, and access point is there. And we have differentiated the clients through the VLANs. But in the basic labs, we would be having multiple branches, and we will have that connectivity between the branches through MPLS or any WAN technology, and we will build that scenario as it will be in the production. Okay. But just for understanding the wireless LAN scenario, so we are just taking this basic setup. Okay, for now. I hope you got this context. If you have any questions, please do ask. I will just go through the configurations once. Okay. I will just explain you how the wireless access point is connected to the core switch and how the core switch is connected to the WLAN in our setup. Okay. The wireless access point, so it is on the port number, it is on wired 0. On the other side, on the core switch, it is connected at 1/0/12. Okay, that is this one here. So the access point is connected to 1/0/12, and this access point interface is configured as a trunk port. Okay, trunk port. And also these access point, we need to configure it as a native VLAN. All right. So why we need to configure that as a native VLAN? I had explained that in the previous sessions also. Like the native VLAN, we build it because uh, the management traffic that comes from the WLAN, okay, the cap app when booting up, right, and the AP joins to the WLC. So in that case, for getting the DHCP IP and for reaching the WLC and sending the join request and all. So it is going to use the native VLAN. And in the native VLAN, basically what happens is it enables the trunking on the interface, and also whatever the untagged traffic is there, that is the cap app traffic, that will be untagged and it will be coming. So that untagged traffic will be sent on, suppose say the access point is on 100. Okay, in our case it is on 100. So I will make it as native VLAN 100. Okay, native VLAN 100. So I am putting APs in the 100 network. So I will tell the native VLAN trunk is on 100. So why I am putting native VLAN as 100 is because whenever the traffic comes from the WLC, it comes as an untagged traffic. Okay, so that is why native VLAN. Okay, that is why we use it as a native VLAN. And also the DHCP discover, right? So that will also go as a untagged. So that's why that must be on the native VLAN network. So that is one important thing. And then I will configure what about, suppose this is a trunk port I am configuring here, right? So it has to allow VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. So I will say that allow trunk. So VLANs I need to allow. Okay, VLAN 10, 20, and 30 I need to allow on this access port. So then the access point will have a connectivity for the clients also, and also to the WLC. For the access point to have a cap app connection with the WLC, so I need to build a cap app tunnel, and also I need to make this port as a native VLAN. So whatever the subnet that you are planning to put to the access point, so that subnet you need to put it as a native VLAN. The why? That is because the cap app traffic will be put on that particular VLAN. Okay, that is in our case, it is 100, VLAN 100. Okay. Actually, we can use native VLAN different than access points VLAN. Yeah, that is also possible, but in our case, so we are doing it like this. Okay. So we can put, we are putting native VLAN as this one so that the cap app traffic will be put on that access point. Okay. So that's the management interface. Uh, and yeah, so after configuring that in the WLC, WLC interface to the core switch, right? WLC is core switch, so that we have put it as a access port or access port. Okay, so that is VLAN 150. So this WLC VLAN is in 150 VLAN. Okay, so that we have configured. So then what happens? We bring the access point. Okay, so once we bring the access point up, so this is having 100, right? 100 VLAN. So that 100 VLAN, so it will send the discover packet on that 100 VLAN, and 100 VLAN discover packet. So I have configured the DHCP server here only, okay, in the core switch, or else we can configure it in the WLC also. The DHCP server, I can configure it in the here also, or else I configured it in the core switch. So here I have put a IP DHCP pool 100, all those things I have put. And then once the access point boots up, right? So I will boot up the access point, and you can erase everything from here. Okay, and also you can reset the access point. So once it boots up, obviously it's going to go to ask for the DHCP IP address. So that IP address, when it goes here, I have configured a DHCP server in my core switch itself. So it will provide the 100 IP. Okay, and then in that core switch only, I have put option IP hex. So option IP hex is nothing but the WLC IP. So with that WLC IP, it is going to contact to the WLC, and then it will build a cap app tunnel to the VLAN 100 interface. So it will build a cap app tunnel. Okay, so that is how this one is set up. I hope this is clear to you. So I will show you through each of the configurations that I am talking about. I just want to explain how it is connected. So wireless access point, on the core switch, it is connected at 1/0/12. Okay, and the WLC on the core switch, it is connected at 46 and 48. Okay, depending on the 46 and 48. So two WLCs. So depending on the interface, okay, so it is connected to 46 and 48. So we'll check out that one. And then, so that is how it is getting. So we'll look into that. So let me share my screen. Mm, I'll share this in WhatsApp chat so that while I'm explaining it, maybe you can keep it handy so that you will get a idea how it is configured. Okay. So this is our access, this is our WLC. You can see like six WLANs are created, one access point is connected, and clients active are two. So yeah, I will explain step by step. First, I will explain the configurations, what is required, okay, for the access for the clients to get the IP address, and also how the access point will get the IP address and how it is configured in the backend to connect to the WLC. So that is the information I'm going to share now. Okay. So let me log into the switch and WLC. This is our core switch. This is the access point. And then we got, we need to log into access point WLC 150.1.7. Okay, so I got the switch, access point, and the WLC. In the access point, in the switch, so let's run some command, show CTP new. Okay, so this is my, you can refer the picture that I've shared in WhatsApp chat. This is the core switch, and in the core switch, these are the WLCs that are deployed on the Dell server. Okay, we got 48, 46, and 48 and 46. So if I log into the WLC and want to see what are these ports, so I will do show CDP neighbor. So here I can check it out that the remote port is like 48, 46, and 48. So these are on the management side, they are connected to 2, 1, and 3. Okay. 46 is connected to management. Okay. And 48 is connected to both gig 2 and gig 3. Okay. So in our WLC, I have three ports, right? If I do show IP interface BRI, so I see gig 1, gig 2, gig 3. Okay. Come on. So IP interface. See, I got three interface here. Gig 1, gig 2, gig 3. And I have created VLAN 10, 20, and 30. Three VLANs I have created, right? And also 150 is there. So this 150 150 VLAN. So this is connected to gig 1. Okay. And these three VLANs is connected to gig 2. So if I do show in run interface gig 1. Okay. So gig 1 is connected to 150 and gig 2 is a trunk port that is connected to 10, 20, 30, and 100. So this I am talking about where. Okay. Let me explain this. So I am talking about the WLC to the core switch interface. Okay. In the WLC, it is a ESXi. So we got gig 1, gig 2, gig 3. But now we are utilizing gig 1 interface. Okay. Gig 1 and gig 2. So gig 1 is connected to the management interface and gig 2 is connected to VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30. Okay. Now I have made it that as a trunk port. Okay, that is on the WLC side of the configuration. So now let's move on to the core switch and see what is configured on the core switch. Okay, let me go to the core switch. Show, so on the core switch, shows CDP neighbor. if I put show CDP neighbor in the WLC, so I see the core switch port is 48 and 46. 46 is connected to gig 1, 48 is connected to gig 2 and gig 3. Okay, so show CDP. So here it is 48, right? Show run interface gig 1/0/48 and 46. So this is a access port that I have configured. Where actually I have configured the access port, that is on this place. Okay. So now we are sorted between WLC and the switch, right? So how the configuration is done. So now let's see how the configuration for the networking is done between the access point and the core switch. Okay, as I said, where the access point port gets connected, right? So here we need to configure it as a native VLAN. So what a native VLAN? So the CAPWAP, right? So the CAPWAP traffic has to be put on some particular VLAN, right? So that VLAN you need to define as a native VLAN. So now when I go here, because the packets that come from WLC, that will be coming as a native VLAN. And yeah, and then let me go to the switch, go to the access point. Okay, so in the access point, let's see. Admin so CDP. So access point is connected to a switch on the switch port number gig 1/0/12. Okay, I go to the switch, show run interface gig 1/0/12, enter. So here I have configured the native VLAN, that is 100, and switch port trunk allowed is 10.20.100. Okay, so these are the switch port traffic that is allowed from the access point. Okay, access point, this is where the access point is connected in the switch. So it has to allow the management traffic also. It has to allow the VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30 also. So that's why we have configured it as a trunk port. But one extra thing we have configured, that is the native VLAN. That is because the untagged traffic will be coming from the WLC uh, to uh, to use that traffic. So we are just configured the native VLAN. Okay, native VLAN 100. The native VLAN 100. So now let me go to displays content. Yeah, that's the configuration from the WLC switch and the access point. So access point, how it is taking the IP, as I said, in the core switch, I have configured the DHCP pool. So how I have configured, let's look into the switch. So is this visible to you? I mean, the font is okay. You want me to increase? Okay. So this is our switch. Okay. So in this switch, how we have configured the DHCP? So show run section DHCP. So here, if you see, I have configured 100 here. IP DHCP pool 100 access points. This is my DHCP pool and the router. And the most important thing is the option 43 hex. So this is the IP address of the this is the IP address of the WLC to which the access point has to go and connect. So access point, the IP address. So online tool, you can do IP to hex and you put the IP address. Okay, you will get the this value, hex value you are going to get. So append that with F104 in this format. Okay, in the Cisco iOS routers, if you are creating the DHCP pool, it should be like this. Now, when the access point boots up, it is on the it's on the trunk that is on the VLAN 100, native VLAN 100. So on the VLAN 100, it is going to send the DHCP request. Okay, that is the use of the native VLAN. So whichever native VLAN you configure, right? So on that DHCP request will be sent. So next, the DHCP request will be broadcasted into the local network, and then it is going to find the DHCP server. And if it is not in the same network, you can give the IP helper address and all, and then it will respond with these things. Okay, so the access point gets the WLC IP address, and then it will contact the WLC in the next step. Okay. That is how it is. So if you want to see the SPI, that is uh, show show run interface VLAN 100. So we have just given the IP address here, nothing fancy. Okay, just the IP address. And once the AP boots up, so it connects to the it sends the discover broadcast packet. This is the DHCP pool here. This is the DHCP pool. This is the interface. Secondary WLC. Huh? If you want to configure the secondary WLC, you need to just add from here only. Okay, here only IP hex value, right? So here only you need to just add the secondary also. You can add it from here. Okay, so that you can do from here. Okay, so that's how the AP AP is going to connect AP is going to connect to the WLC and getting the IP address from here. Okay, that is how it gets. So I hope till this point it is clear. So that's about the backend networking that we need to configure. Okay, so one important catch is to have the access point port as a IP schema. Let you confused in WLC IP switch to WLC IP is 2.2 in switch 1 in switch dot 1. So which one you are talking about? The switch. SVI and we have SVI and WLC. Okay, you want to see SVI in the WLC. Um, okay, WLC SVI you want to see which one? So in switch SVI. In switch here it is there, no interface VLAN 100 for VLAN 100. So when it broadcasts, it is on VLAN 100, the access point port. So obviously it has visibility to the DHCP server that is in the switch. So that is how it is going to get the IP address. In switch, we have configured the pool and the SVI we have configured. So that's how it is going to get the IP address. Is that clear? Why you use some are in dot 2, in switch some VLAN is in dot 1. Can you type full dot two means what? This one, IPDHCP pool 100 access points as a default router. Okay, where is the default router? So default router is this one IP address, right? 100.1.1.1. You see the SVI, it is 100.1.1.1. So in the DHCP pool, 100. So this is what we are concentrating on. Okay, and this VLAN 30 also you can see that 31, 30.1, 20.1, 10.1. So you are referring to this one, you please ignore this one, okay? IPDHCP pool, if you are referring to this one. So we are just concentrating on the VLAN 100 now, okay? VLAN 100. So VLAN 100 is configured and that is how it is going to get the IP and WLC is going to register, okay? The IP is going to register to the WLC. So, um, So now we will see what is how the VLAN is configured for the clients. Okay. When the client boots up, right? So when the client boots up, so obviously it is going to send a discover packet. Okay. In the discover packet, it is going to send. So it is going to send to the WLC. All right. So in the WLC, what we will do, we are going to configure the DHCP pool we can configure. Okay, in the WLC. If you want to get the IP address locally, so then locally you need to configure as we did it in the core switch. So it is going to send the discover packet and then it will try to connect. And when the SS and we know that SSID, that is nothing but the WLAN, is mapped to a VLAN, right? Mapped to a VLAN. So WLAN to VLAN mapping, you already did it through the configuration. Because of that, it is going to contact the WLAN. Suppose you say WLAN, VLAN is configured as VLAN 10. So that VLAN, it is if it is a central switching, the WLC is going to send the discover packet. If it is a local switching, so then the access point is going to send the discover packet in the VLAN 10. Okay, that is how it is going to get the IP address from the VLAN 10. So if it is locally there, so then you need to configure a local DHCP server in the local switching. If it is a central switching, then also, if you want to find that in a wired network, that is fine. Or else you can configure WLC as a DHCP server. You can configure the DHCP pool in the DHCP server itself. Okay, these two concepts, is it clear? So if what I'm trying to explain is if we have a VLAN, okay, client wants to have a specific VLAN, correct? VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30. So then what needs to be the configuration in network standpoint? So we need to do the first thing is you need to do the proper WLAN to VLAN mapping. Okay, that is done. So now depending on the VLAN that is configured, that is 10. So either the access point or the WLC is going to send the discover packet. Okay, in the VLAN. In the VLAN, you are going to define in the VLAN, you can define the IP helper address either in the WLC you can define IP helper address, or else there is a section in the advanced DHCP required and you can give the DHCP IP address. So through that it will come to know which DHCP server it needs to reach. Okay, through those configurations, it is going to reach the DHCP server and then get the IP address. Okay, and then it will get the IP address. So now let me show that configurations to you. So if you go to administration, DHCP pools, from here you can add the DHCP pool. Okay, DHCP pool name. I will say VLAN 40, and then network, I'll say 192.168.40.0 mask. This one is that, and add to device. So once you create the pool, okay, you have to create a pool like this in the DHCP server. Sorry, in the WLC. Okay. So once you create the pool, then um, once you create the pool, so the once the client boots up, right? If it is in VLAN 40, then it has to come here and get the IP address. But you have to define the VLAN also, right? So you need to go to configuration. We need to go to configuration, then WLAN. From here, we need to create a WLAN. So I will just, sorry, VLAN. VLAN number, I will say 40. And then apply to device. Okay. We just created a VLAN 40, but you can see the operational status is down. So any guesses where I need to add this VLAN 40? So I need to associate this VLAN into some interface, right? That is the access points interface in the switch where the access point is connected, right? So there I need to associate this. I just created a VLAN 40, but I need to associate that under the access point. Okay. So I will go here. So I didn't go to WLAN it. We are just discussing the backend configuration for networking, how it is connected. So I will go to for here, and then um, in the switch on interface gig 1/0/12 enter. So let me show interface. So here is where the switch, the access point is connected to the switch. Okay. So I just need to add the interface. Interface gig 1/0/12 enter. I'll just say switch port trunk. Allowed VLAN 30 also available, 40 also enter. Okay. So what I did, so I created a VLAN. I created a DHCP pool here, and also I have created a VLAN 40, and that VLAN 40, um, that VLAN 40 here, I need to associate that with a SVI. Uh, uh, that is in the WLC. And also one more thing we need to do is in the access point where the switch is connected, right? So there also we need to allow that VLAN 40. That is because we create one more VLAN 40 means when the client boots up, obviously the traffic is going to go through this port, right? So we need to allow the 40 here. And the DHCP where we have created, it is here. Okay. So then it is going to the WLC, and in WLC it is going to check. Okay. So now next is I will go to the WLC and do the configuration here also. Change it to- I will associate that VLAN VLAN 30, VLAN 40 into the gig 2. Okay. Config T. So this where I am doing. So it is on the on the WLC side. So on the WLC side, core switch it is connected, right? So in the WLC, there are two interface that I am configuring. That is gig 1 and gig 2, right? So I am configuring it on the gig 1. Sorry, gig 2. Gig 1 is I have dedicated for this thing. So now let me, please don't draw here. There's a way to now. Stop. Okay. Interface gig 2. So I will just add 40 here. See? And what is there in the gig 1? It is a access port that is 150. It is I have dedicatedly kept for the management. But for WLANs, I am giving gig 2. Okay, gig 2. I created a DHCP pool. I created a VLAN, and that VLAN I have associated into the gig 2 of the WLC. Okay, gig 2, where it is connected the gig 2 on the switch side. Let's see here. Show IP interface. So if you see the gig 2 that is here, that is connected into 1/0/48 port on the switch. So what is there on that port on the switch? Let's see. Show run interface gig 1/0/48. So here we have configured it as an access port only. Okay. So that is the configuration that you need to build for creating a one more VLAN. Okay. So then we will come to the WLC side of the configuration. So on the WLC for the WLAN configuration, you just create a WLAN, add. So you can create like maybe VLAN 40 flex and then add to device. Before to that, I will just make security as none for now. Apply to device. So this basically VLAN 40 we have created. I mean WLAN 40. I will just say WLAN. And as you know, this WLAN 40 has to be connected to the policy profile, right? So I go to the configuration policy. So there are like two policy that I'm using, central and Flexconnect local. Okay. So in the central, if you see, we need to associate that VLAN here, right? That is VLAN 30 I have given. This is one important thing that you need to remember. And advanced, you need to go to IPv DHCP, IPv4 DHCP required and DHCP server address. So if you don't do this, so when you do the Flex Connect local switching, so then you will not get the IP address, okay, in the local switching. In the central switching, you will get it if you don't define here. But if you are doing the local switching, right? So make sure you are defining this configuration. Okay. So what is the first step? You just created a WLAN, and the next step is you created a policy profile. In that access policy, you are defining the VLAN, and then in the advanced, you are defining the DHCP IP address. So these are the three things we did till now. So once that is done, so let's go to the flex profile. Okay. So I am using the default flex profile. So in the default flex profile VLAN page, just add that VLAN here. Okay. So VLAN 40 30, I will add VLAN 30 also. Save VLAN 40. Save. Update. Okay, this is also important. If you don't configure this VLAN, then the IP address you will not get. So these are the configuration touch points you need to remember in case if you are not getting the IP address to the client. Okay. One thing is you go to the policy, make sure in the advanced DHCP required is checked and you get it from there. And the flex profile also you just add the VLAN from there. Okay. Once that is completed, we need to go to tags and associate the WLAN to this is my policy tag. In that policy tag, obviously I'm going to add the new WLAN that I have created to the policy profile. So I will say default policy profile is what I'm using. So update. Okay, I have associated the WLAN to VLAN now. So that WLAN should be visible on my client machine. So here only it is there. WLAN 40 flex is there. Okay. So that way I can configure the clients in multiple VLANs. Okay, and also I can put the access point into a different subnet. So if you are putting the access point into the different subnet, make sure that the access point subnet you are making it as a native trunk, and then you just reload the access point, and try access point gets that IP address in that particular native VLAN. Okay, and it is recommended to configure the native VLAN on the switch port, and also in productions also normally native VLAN is configured on the switch. Okay. Yeah. So in the last session, what we are trying to do is I was just trying to keep only the management, and I was trying to show. Okay, but here I have changed the scenario as you wanted different VLAN, so that's why I have changed it. So earlier what I was doing is I was just keeping the management interface. That's why I configured this one as a access one only. Okay, because when the client is getting the IP address, right? So it all depends on the DHCP pool that you configure here. Okay, you can have a different IP also, but access point and WLC in the same subnet. So that's why I have defined this port as the access port. But now since we are using access point also in different subnet, and we are trying to achieve differently, so that's why I have configured in a standard way where I am putting it as a native trunk. Okay. So once this is completed, so yeah, I will just show you. We can just first check out the central switching. Okay. So for central switching, what I will do is, mm, so there is something in chat. Can you show in GUI association G to GUI mode? Why is VLAN 40 needs to be Flex Connect? VLAN 40 needs to be Flex Connect because we are practicing the Flex Connect configuration, right? So that is why. Like Flex Connect is if the AP loses connection to the WLC, but still the AP will operate if it is in Flex Connect local switching, right? So that's the concept. And can you show GUI association in? Okay. So if you want to see the GUI association, you need to go to Ethernet. But here you will not be able to see as it is a trunk port. Okay. So here it will show VLAN IDs 10, 20, 30, 40, 100. So from here you can check it out. Okay, I hope this is what you asked. Why is VLAN 40 needs to be Flex Connect? Yeah. So if I go to configuration and then go to policy and here, so how do I make it a You want me to show the native VLAN 1 or 100? Uh, Native VLAN 1 because I've kept it default, okay? So that should be fine. We go to the policy. In the policy, if I go to FlexConnect local here, in the FlexConnect local policy profile, I am going to access policies and you can see the VLAN group here. Okay. So I have assigned like 20. I will make it as 10 for now. And advanced, I am giving DHCP server IP as 20. So I will say 10. Okay. And update and apply to device. I go back to FlexConnect. Here you can see central switching is switched off and DHCP, central DHCP also switched off. Okay. I will not apply this. Okay. Or else I will just apply it for now. Update to device. So I have a WLAN created. Okay. WLAN created. That is configuration WLAN. I will take NS lab. Okay. So this NS lab, I'm going to associate that with a policy. That policy is Flex Connect policy. Okay. In the Flex Connect policy, I got the VLAN 10 and also I am defining the DHCP server as 10. So now I will go back to the configuration tags and the site tag, right? In the site tag, so NS lab is connected to default policy. I will just change that to local, Flex Connect local update. So once I do this configuration, I just go back here to my client, okay, and I will try to connect to NS lab. So NS lab 1 is connected. Let me connect to NS lab. So connect. So you can see now it is getting 192.168.10.11. So how I can come to know from where it is getting either because I've configured the DHCP on the WLC also on the local switch also I have configured, right? So to check out that, I will just find the binding show IP DHCP binding. Okay. So 11, okay. So it is taking from the 11 is released to uh, this is if 11 it is getting it from the local switch, not from here. Okay. So to check out that one, so I can run show IP DHCP binding. As you can see, it is not getting from here. Okay. The 10.2 it is getting, 10.3 it is getting, but it is getting from the local switch. So now what I will do is I will go and disconnect the cable. Okay. Just to see how the access point operates now. Okay. So for that, we know that this switch is connected. Either I can put a ACL here. Okay. Or else I can just shut down the port. So I know that the gig 2 of the WLC is connected to 46 or 48. Let me cross check that. Mm. So So gig 2 is connected with 48. Okay, gig 2 is connected with 48. So I am going to shut down 48. Okay, 48 port. Or else I can shut down gig 2 from here. Okay, any of the one. So config key, interface gig 2, shut down. Okay, once I shut down, we will monitor. It is in Flexconnect local switching. So when it is in local switching, the SSID outage should not happen. Right, the SSID outage should not happen in Flexconnect local switching. So that's what we are trying to check. So I am just disconnecting the CapApp tunnel. So now after disconnecting, let's see if there is any outage in the if there is any outage in the SSID. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is what will happen if new clients will come and connect. Okay, that is the second thing we are going to check out. So before shutting it down, I need to do one more configuration here because the authentication is should be local, right? Authentication should be local. So if any new client comes, so when they try to connect, they need to have some local database, right? So that you need to configure. If the SSID is open, so then no worries. But if it is not, then we can configure the local credentials if anybody wants to log in when the WLC is down. So I'll just oh, it's already time, so I will just shut it down first. Let's analyze that scenario. So now the gig 2 is down. Okay, gig 2 uh, on which the the traffic is connected. Okay, so that itself is down. Gig 2 is down. So in gig 2 only VLAN 10 traffic and all is there, and also the CapApp tunnel is there. So I have just shut it down. So now let's see what is happening on the AP. The AP. Oh, I think I need to shut down gig 1. I'm really sorry. Let me shut down gig 1. The gig 1 is down. That means there is no connection to the WLC now. You can see here in the AP, in the access point, something is happening. You can see here Flex Connect switching to standalone mode. So now the access point is on its own. Okay, there's no connection to the WLC and access points are on their own. Let's see if the outage happens when they are connected. So NS Lab, so it is still connected. It is on the 10 network. Still it continues to get the IP address. And there is no SSID outage when the WLC is down, but still the access point is able to operate without the without the WLC. Access point is able to operate. So now what we'll do is we'll try to check what happens if the new client comes, right? So in the new client comes, so what I will do is I will forget this network so that it will be a fresh kind of connection. There is one more client here. Let me try with this one. Yeah, so this one will not have any previous information. So I will just try to connect to NS Lab now. So it got connected and it got the IP address as well. That is in 10.2. And how to validate from where it is getting. So I will just go here, show IPDHCP binding. So you can see 10.2 from VLAN 10. It is getting the IP address from there. Okay. So you have any questions? So do you want me to explain one more time how it is connected or anything else you want to know? Derek Sayed. When you shut down the port, can you show me the log read messages? Mm, log read messages. Log errors. Okay. When I shut down the port, see, when I shut down the port, you are seeing this here, right? So this is what happens. You can see the Flexconnect switching goes into standalone mode. The AP goes into standalone mode. But if you use central switching, so it does not go into standalone mode. Okay, it will not go into standalone mode. So once I bring back, right, you can see Flexconnect switching, it goes into connected mode. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, sure. I will do one thing tomorrow. Again, I will explain you one more time so that it is clear for you. Okay. And also you can go back and watch the recording and you can see where is the gap. Like in some point, if you're not understanding, you can let me know. I will explain one more time. No problem. step by step do we have in lab FlexConnect? Yes, FlexConnect is everywhere required in production, in CCI lab. FlexConnect is very important to understand the concept. Okay, I will just stop here.